Okay, here we go. As you can see, I came back through. Like I said, it was darkening some of these lines, thickening them up, or not thickening them, but making them deeper. Okay, and just highlighted the certain lines that I will tool first, that I will swivel knife cut, bevel, and then I don't remember the name of this tool, but I believe it's called a lifter. I'm not quite sure, but I love this frickin' tool. I'll put up underneath the edge. I'll show you that later, and it just lifts it right up. It's frickin' awesome. It's amazing. I'd like to get a couple more, but I went ahead, and this is my greatest weakness when it comes to making things. I never know when to quit. So I added in some skin breaks to just try to make it a little bit more interesting and add more depth to the piece, because if I tool this just right, just like in tattooing, leather work is amazingly a lot like tattooing. If I concentrate on getting this piece pushed forward in front of that skull, when I do the depth carving and tooling in this socket, it's going to so push this piece so far forward. It's going to be amazing, especially when you use that lifter to get up underneath this edge and curl it under. It's just going to look like it's floating, and I can't wait. I'm getting pretty excited right now. And the same way with this here, especially over the eye socket here. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to push that skull so far in the back. But when you do that, you got to remember you've got foreground, middle ground, and background. It's really hard to do in leather, and even harder tattooing. But this is why I have this going over the jaw and the jaw coming over the skin here, to make it look like the skull has actually pushed through the skin, and parts of it are holding it back. Now, if I can do this just right how I see it in my head, which 9 out of 10 times I don't, and it makes me mad, but that's life, it'll look awesome. Now that I have everything dictated on what needs to have the most depth to it, whether it's coming forward or going deeper into the picture, I'll go through and do all my swivel knife cuts. And then I will tool completely all of the background that needs to be flattened with the backgrounder all around the skull, so I can show the form and definition and give me a good idea of how deep this is, which will allow me to adjust the depth for these to make these pop forward. It's kind of hard to understand. I hope I'm explaining it correctly, but for you to understand it, if not, I'm a freaking open book, people. I've always said that. Drop me a line, send me a message, and I will help in any way possible, because this site is awesome. I've learned so much from the people on it, and when Doris asked me to do it, I really wanted to. Now that I got the time, kind of feel like I'm giving back. It's cool. So stay tuned, and we'll go through and do some cuts, and then I'll explain why I started and stopped in certain spots. And again, this is just how I do it. I'm not saying this is the right way or the correct way, the only way. This is how I do it. I'm self-taught. No one's taught me crap. This is what I figured out. Alright, stay tuned.